Geoff, it's never easy doing the post-match interview after a defeat like that. So thanks for joining us. What went wrong then?
It's usually easier the post-match interviews when there's a defeat. There's more to talk about. Sometimes when you win, it's usually straightforward. But it's a tale of our season, I think, and I think I've discussed this over numerous times in terms of our final third. I don't think as a collective we're good enough to sort of go where we want to go to. Now, like I said, the deceiving part of it, you can look at how many goals we've scored this season, but I'm telling you, like when it's really mattered, like XG and our conversion of big chances, it's not really good enough. Like again, you can watch this game back, and they've probably had one overhit cross that's gone in, but then if you're going to concede, you want to concede early, don't you? In a game like this, where you've got the whole game, to relatively chase, and produce quality, and that's what we're asking. Can we, as a collective, can the 11 or maybe the subs on the bench come on and produce two bits of quality? That's what we're asking, and we were unable to do that, and that's the disappointing thing. The first half they had the win, so again they were just hitting it over, and a lot of the balls were going to Jack. We had a lot of the ball, but in the final third, the decision making hasn't been good enough the whole season for me, and that's what's really killing us. I think defensively, I know we've conceded a lot, but that tends to be from set pieces and lapses of concentration. I think defensively we're okay. Midfield, maybe we can add a little bit, but as a collective, I don't think we've got enough quality to get into the playoffs. And I think in terms of our position in the league, we are where we're supposed to be, unfortunately. Missed opportunity again today, you could say, put 4 wins together, or at least go into the last game with something to play for, but we've lost away to Staplehurst. And it's another away defeat as well. That's another thing we've been poor at this season away from home. I think it's 5 wins the whole season. It's not good enough if you want to get into the playoffs. I think if you look at the table in terms of our home form, I think we're at third or fourth, which is good, and can even be better. But away from home, we don't seem to be able to rise against adversity. 1-0 down early doors. You look at the play, you're thinking, okay, cool, we're getting into good areas, but you got to produce. Otherwise it's pointless. So I just think we probably just need maybe a reset. I think we've fallen short in terms of, as I said, our quality, and I think we need to add, if we're going to really achieve. Again, we don't know what's happening next season. It's quite evident we're trying to move back to the furlough none. But listen, right now we haven't got enough quality. Across the board consistently, we haven't got enough players that can put a run of good performances together. So that's often why we're chopping and changing, because we need players that's going to step up to the mark and say, look, you've got to pick me. Same way Tammy was doing a few weeks back. So many man of the match performances. He was saying, look, I dare you to drop me, but we haven't got too many of those players at the moment that are doing it. Rotated squad today, players are away, availability, injuries. It's going to happen. So can you step up today? Say, you know what, I want to play in the final. Pick me. We didn't see too many of that today. So I can only apologise again. A long way to come. Back to back, Staplehurst. We should be winning. We should be winning these sort of games. So we can only apologise again to the away support travelling so far. But yeah, right now, as I said, it's not enough quality. Not enough. It's not good enough. We've got 3 games left to try and find some sort of momentum for the cup final, and it's up to us as the management team to sort of find a solution. Because as I said, right now, it's not good enough.
You mentioned away form hasn't been good, particularly sort of turn of the year. We started the season with some good away wins, but
yeah,
is it confidence now?
I think so. I think it's a little bit of confidence, and as I said, when you're going against away from home, where you might not get the decisions, the 50-50 decisions. They may have an away support, not to say it's better than our support, but you're going to have to rise against it. And there's going to be periods of the game where you may have to, against the tide, ride the storm, should I say, without conceding. Then you'll get your sort of time in the game to maybe go and sort of push for the win. But we always tend to concede in those sort of periods. I mean, today it was just okay. It's just a fluke goal. It's over here, But there was still enough time, and it's still enough. We had enough of the ball to go and put 2 in the back of the net. But we're getting to the byline. We can't cut it back. We can't find a person. We're missing from 2 yards. Headers. We should be going back across goal. We're heading it their post. So that's decision making. And I guarantee you, against the top teams, I mean, they get those same chances they bury against us. So that tells you we're not clinical enough. We're not ruthless enough in those sort of areas, and that's boils down to sort of like the winning mentality, which I think is slightly missing when it really matters against us. Listen, we're going to give our all. We're going to find a way, to compete and for the rest of the games of the season and the cup final. But as I said, too often we've had these sort of performances where we've gone at half time, still the better team. So then it's come on, let's kick on. Obviously, we had to make a sub. The ref did say, look, if Jake gets anything, he's going to get another yellow, which should have been a red card. So obviously we had to protect him because you know how it is. They can construe a situation and then get him sent off. Then we're down to 10 for no reason. So we made a sub, changed the formation. We started with a 3. We thought again we could come here today and sort of create chances, create opportunities, which we did. But we changed to a 4 again with the wind, but we still to sort of attack their wide areas. But like I said, for the amount of opportunities we got in behind the defence, nothing came of it, then that should tell you. And we've seen this sort of performance, and we've seen it in numerous games, this season, and that tells you we haven't got that ruthless edge, that cutting edge, to sort of put teams to the sword.
Yeah, just very quickly going through some of the chances we had. So Briggs's free kick just hit round the
Good
post.
Save. Good save.
Fred Taylor's goal ruled offside. What do you make of that?
Would have to check the VO.
Okay.
It was unsure, but yeah, as I said, when you're getting to those areas, you've got to produce something. You got at least it ends with a shot on target, because again, it's just null and void, and it's just pointless, and it just lets them off the hook because they can walk away from today thinking like we got away with one, but really and truly, what did they do? How many times did they make the keeper work? When you break it down, and we didn't, not enough times to actually affect the result. So
we had Lewis 1-on-1 saved by the keeper.
Yeah.
Then Louis obviously his kind of cannoned over the bar later on as well.
And that's what I mean. Again, it's like one of them has to go in at least. A draw, we still have been disappointed with a draw, but at least you come away with something. We've got something to hold on to the next game. But yeah, as I said, we just need to find something. So it's up to us, the management team. We've been in this situation before. We put our heads together and just as a common solution. Because obviously, Welling at home, potentially a big crowd. Saturday, the weather's starting to get better. We need to put a performance for the fans that are turning up. Do you understand? Something that represents us, that represents them. Because speaking to some of the opposition, they're talking about how well our fans travelled, how much noise they were making, and they said, well, we're lucky to have them, and 100% very lucky to have them. And for the noise that they were making, the effort that they were putting, we didn't replicate that on the pitch, and that's not good enough. So we just need to be better, and then we'll find a way. And that's what we always do. That's the beauty of management sometimes, finding solutions. When you're winning games, and you got a winning formula, plan A, that's kind of when it's easy. It's when, you're in these sort of situations where you've got to pick the players up, maybe move a few, pins around, and come with a winning formula. Beat Welling. Obviously, then we've got Lewis Sherman and Forest Hill. Last game of the season will probably be some sort of dress rehearsal, depending on what they may need. We may end up being party poopers in that. They may need to win the league, and it's us in the rare situation of trying to be, party poopers. But as I said, we just got to try and regroup and go into the cup final with some sort of form and confidence.